those who ever wondered how stop motion dinosaurs are made. Prepare yourself for an easy step-by-step insight in the creation of built-up latex dinosaurs. Hello and welcome to the first episode of this 4-part tutorial to make a stop motion dinosaur puppet. When I begin with a new creature, I first make some decisions, what I want it to look like and how big I want my puppet to be. Then I draw a quick picture of it or search the internet. This time I found this image of the Dilophosaurus I like. I printed it on plain paper with the right size I wanted my creature to be. These are the items you will need for your armature, the skeleton of your stop motion puppet. A drill, a Sharpie pen, pliers, a wire cutter, some aluminum wire of different strength, some nuts for the tie downs, a knife, and you will also need some epoxy putty and gloves. The first step is measuring the spine. We need the exact length of the spine and use 3 strands of aluminum wire for extra strength. I'm using a 2mm aluminum wire for the spine. With a drill, I twist the aluminum wire together. I mark with a Sharpie pen on the spine the position of the hip section and the shoulder section. The next step is measuring the leg size. I'm putting again 3 strands of 2mm aluminum wire. Make the legs a little bit longer as needed, so you can form the hip section later. You will need 2 of them. Just repeat the last step with the forearms. Make the forearms also a little bit longer so you can form the shoulder section later. When you have all your legs and forearms prepared, you can put them on your spine with some thread. So far so good, your skeleton is almost finished. Now you have to put your epoxy putty. Put the putty to the hip section and the shoulder section of your skeleton. Now is also the time to use the nuts to make the tie downs on the feet of your creature. When the putty hardened, you can move forward and form on all the sections which doesn't need to bend little bones. the head sculpt, I'm using some little pre-molded eyes from the internet, thin aluminum wire and oven baking clay. First step is the tedious work of making little teeth for the jaws section. Next I put my thin aluminum wire and measure the jawline from the drawing to form a little jaw for the head section. Repeat the process for the other side of the jaw, for the lower part. For the jaw hinges, I put some thin wire on one side of the jawline. When finished, I put a little bit of oven hardening clay to the jaw lines. And with some pliers I put the little teeth into the clay. When ready, I put everything into the oven and bake it till it's hard. When the upper jaw cooled down a little bit, I put the lower jaw and bind it together with some thread or aluminum wire. Then again I form with a little amount of oven baking clay the lower jaw and put with pliers teeth on the jaw. After another baking session our jaw is complete. With another little amount of oven baking clay, I'm forming the gums on the lower and upper jaw. When finished and oven baked, again you can take a little amount of epoxy putty and glue your upper jaw section to the end of your neck section from your pre-made skeleton. Next I prepare two eye beads alike and put it with a little oven baking clay to the upper half or from the skull where the eyes are located. With more oven baking clay, I'm forming the rest of the head. For the crests of the Dilophosaurus, I cut 2 halves of cardboard in shape and press it into the smooth oven baking clay. With a small tube, I'm pressing small scales into the soft clay. When finished, it's time to bake everything in the oven one last time. The last step of this tutorial is to making some claws for the toes and the fingers with some epoxy putty. Now we have a finished, movable, ready to animate skeleton of our dinosaur puppet. So, this was the first of 4 parts of my stop motion dinosaur puppet tutorial. I hope you enjoyed the video and everything was well documented to make yourself a wire skeleton for your puppets. If you have any questions, just write them on the comment section. See you next time on the second episode of this 4-part tutorial. Have a nice day.